Hi guys, and welcome back to another Arsenal transfer update. A transfer update which I hoped I'd never have to make. As you'll seen by the title, as you'll have probably heard, Jack Wilshere has decided to leave Arsenal Football Club. After yesterday's madness of, Leno basically being completed and then he was announced. Torreira basically completed, which I said I didn't expect to make one the next day. But 5 or 10 minutes after Leno was announced, Jack Wilshere, or it might be slightly longer than that, Jack Wilshere also announced on his Instagram that he was going to leave the club. He told us in his statement that he has had a contract offered to him. It was a pay cut, and he was ready to take that contract, ready to sign it. But after holding crunch talks with Unai Emery, he's been informed that he will not be playing regular football next season. And he's not a guaranteed starter. And at Jack Wilshere's stage of his career and the level that he can possibly produce, because he's a quality, talented player, he needed to move on, and I understand that decision. I'm slightly annoyed at Arsenal because I think if we had offered 150k a week, even though he maybe been told he wasn't going to play, I think it would have been much more tempting for him to stay. But you can understand from Jack Wilshere's perspective why he's wanted to leave. I genuinely don't think I felt more deflated at someone leaving. I mean, you might say that's ridiculous. We've had better players leave, and that's true. Van Persie hurt a lot going to United. But it was sort of expected. Fabregas, you can't really blame him for going to Barcelona. It was expected. Nasri hurt, but once again, it was expected and didn't have the same affiliation with the club that Jack does. Alexis Sanchez, again, we got a decent swap deal out of it, and it was coming for ages that he was going to leave. Wilshere, he's different to all those players in that he has this love for Arsenal that very few players in our squad, in fact no one really in our squad has. So it's just deflating. I was genuinely quite emotional to hear this news. I think a lot of Arsenal fans were. He's probably one of the most liked Arsenal players in the time that I've supported Arsenal, just because he is Mr. Arsenal. He is an Arsenal fan. He's Arsenal. He's come through the academy. He's Arsenal through and through. He's a gooner. And he's the only real gooner in the squad, or the only one that is sort of prevalent in the first team. I mean, you've heard some of the new youth academy players are Arsenal fans, but Wilshere always gave 100% on the pitch, and he always fought for Arsenal, and you could see it through him. You could see the passion that he played with, and essentially he was just ruined by tons and tons of injuries. I mean, when he first broke through 7 years ago against Barcelona in that game, that season he broke through, but that Barcelona game, I was there. I was like, 9 or 8 or something like that, and I think it was 9. And on that day, we all thought, Jack Wilshere is our Steven Gerrard, he's our Frank Lampard, he's this player, he's Mr. Arsenal, he's going to stay at Arsenal for almost his whole career, like Steven Gerrard or Frank Lampard. He's going to win loads of trophies for us, he's going to be our captain. A lot of Arsenal fans thought that. He thought he was going to be the figure of Arsenal Football Club for years to come, and unfortunately in the next pre-season he picked up his first major injury, which ruled him out for the whole of the next season, and several other injuries have deterred his career significantly, and he's not even made 200 appearances in 7 years at the club. Obviously had to go out on loan at Bournemouth, and although he did show signs last season that he's got the quality, I think Arsenal were sort of weary of his injury record and sort of took that into consideration, that they can't place full trust in Jack Wilshere. And I can understand where they're coming from. We've got Lucas Torreira, obviously signing defensive midfielder. We've got Granit Xhaka, who obviously they're giving him a third chance. They're going to try and utilise him properly, not as a defensive midfielder, but more as that deep lying playmaker. Give him a few more opportunities to show. Probably a third and last chance for Granit Xhaka. Aaron Ramsey, obviously they're looking to build a team around him. He's been he had that one major injury, but he's not been anywhere near as injury threatened as Jack Wilshere, and he's made far more appearances for Arsenal, and he's a huge part of the Arsenal team, and will probably get the captain's armband, I think, especially if he signs a new contract. And Arsenal looking to build their team around him. Obviously they got Mohamed El Neni, the ultimate squad player, can do a job and come on, can play in the smaller games, very neat on the ball, high energy, high stamina. Those 4 players, and then obviously they'll look to maybe integrate Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Joe Willock a bit more, especially Maitland-Niles, who was very good last season. And I don't think we'll be signing a replacement. And obviously Alex Iwobi's shown signs that he can drop into midfield and look very effective there. I think that could happen. So I don't think we're going to be signing another centre mid. I don't necessarily think it's necessary, although we have lost Wilshere and Cazorla. But yeah, I'm just absolutely devastated it's not worked out for Wilshere. He's obviously had some good moments. He's shown at times that he can be a brilliant player, and he is very, very talented. He's just been very unlucky with injuries, and it is devastating as an Arsenal fan, because after that game against Barcelona, where he completely ran a midfield against the best midfield in the world at the time, the best team in the world, you know, Xavi at his peak, Iniesta at his peak, Busquets, that was the best midfield in the world, and he, a 19-year-old little boy, ran the midfield in that game, and all Arsenal fans are looking at that, and this is our Steven Gerrard, and now it hasn't worked out, and it's a bit devastating as an Arsenal fan, but we have to move on. I think it's showing signs of how we are moving into a new era, not just with the manager, but we've shifted out tons of players who sort of were ingrained in that sort of top 4 aim for several seasons under Wenger near the end of his reign. You know, we've shifted out Szczesny, looks like we're going to lose Ospina, Mertesacker, Gabriel, Gibbs, Coquelin, Cazorla, Wilshere. Who else? Oxlade-Chamberlain, Walcott, Sanchez, Giroud. Several players we've let go from this last Arsene Wenger era, and we're moving to a new era, trying to bring in fresh blood. And I hope it works, but I'm still devastated that Jack Wilshere's left the club. So Jack, thanks for the memories, and I wish you good luck in the future.
I hope someday we'll sit down together and laugh with each other about these days. All our troubles we'll lay to rest, and we wish we could come back to these days.
To show for it now, and I know it ain't pretty when the fire burns out.
I can't change, even if I tried, even if I wanted to, and I can't change, even if I tried. My love, she keeps me warm. She keeps me warm. She keeps me warm.